Doug was your typical accountant that you would expect to see when you walk into a company for the first time.
Oh, I've been in this office for 18 years.
But it's not what I want to do for the rest of my life.
I would think over the course of maybe 15 years, it took us to really get Doug to let his hair down. And when he did, it was really letting his hair down.
Pose like a model. Who are you, Doug?
Well, I used to sit here and just fantasize about doing this.
And I kept telling you you could do it.
Yes, you did.
I kept saying you could do that.
Right. Age is not the limitation that you think it is.
Hello, Doug. Hello, John. How are you doing today?
Doing well, thank you.
You're welcome. So you guys are located in America right now, right? The States.
Yes, in New York. Mm-hmm.
So I'm Anika. I'm the editorial from Bangladesh. So today we are just going to have a very candid chat about the film that you guys have just released. So thank you and welcome to WhatsOn.
Thank you.
First, I would just ask, how are you all doing? How are you doing, Doug?
We're very excited to having the film screen in the UK at 3 film festivals. It's been accepted to a couple of more recently, so it's all very exciting for us. We're having a lot of fun.
Yes, that's what I want to say is that congratulations for all your official selections. Tell us a little bit about the film.
The film is a documentary narrative film. So part of it is a true documentary about Doug's story. And part of it is narrative that's based on the very creative storytelling of John. Although part of it is storytelling, it does sort of follow Doug in his quest to become a performer, whether that's in actual real life or whether it's just training to be a performer. At least from my perspective, it's inspirational, gives the message that you really shouldn't give up on your dreams. Pursue your dreams, go for it. At least you can say you tried. This is really a film about finding that inner voice within you, creating something that you probably is beyond your wildest imagination.
From being an accountant, just a mundane accountant, to a performer, when did you realize in your life, like which point did you hit that, no, I have what it takes to embark on this journey that I think I'm really, really passionate about? Like, when did it hit you? Like, was it just suddenly one morning you woke up and you realized that you should do it? Or was it a slow process?
It was a slow process. I've always loved music all my life. I was a radio DJ for a little while on the side while I was working as a corporate accountant. So music has always been a passion of mine. It really wasn't until I started working with John on a music video for a supervisor of mine who was retiring as a retirement project that I really discovered how much I enjoyed dancing, singing, performing. It was the first time I'd really ever done that. We continued to work together and we created this, ultimately over a period of like 4 years, we created this really amazing film. So that's kind of how it happened. Did I know that I could really do this? No, I really didn't. I wasn't really sure. It was kind of a leap of faith. It was kind of like jumping into a swimming pool in the deep end and knowing if you could swim or not. A learning experience, an adventure in many places, in many times, a scary adventure for me along the way. But thanks to our creative collaborators, thanks to John and his great storytelling and directing, this is where we are.
That's great. So my next question is for John. So basically a film takes 1 to 2 years for production, but documentary film is very different. Right. So it takes more years, more risks are involved. So just tell me, like, from where did you get this faith that, I should do this documentary? It will take years, but the end product will be really, really great.
Right. So you set that up nicely. When you're working in documentary, you don't know what the end is going to be. And you don't have a script that your entire team can follow along with. Including your editor. Our editor works very frequently in documentaries. So one of the many benefits of working with her. And we started the editing process before we were finished filming, just to kind of get a sense of where the story was taking us. We knew that there is a story of transformation here. We're taking Doug, who is a numbers guy. And when you work with numbers, everything kind of has to fit into the equation. Everything needs to line up. And if the numbers don't line up, you're going to notice. But working with Doug, he really had to unlearn that part of his background, because when it comes to the creative process, there isn't a path to follow in order to discover your own unique voice. So working with Doug was really trying to unteach those lessons of working with numbers to say, you need to explore where your mind and heart can take you in order to get in touch with the creative side of yourself. What we knew from the very beginning is that the film was going to end in a concert. We didn't know if that concert was going to be in his mind as a fantasy. We didn't know if that concert was going to be a real success of his popularity. And I think in the end, it's a fusion where you see this beautiful concert as the climax and finale of the film, which is so satisfying when you're after going on this journey with Doug. And I think when you're watching it, you're allowed to think, is this a real concert or is this his fantasy? Are we seeing him live his fantasy? But in either scenario, he did it. Doug did it, and he was successful.
So basically what we see is a transformation of a person, like an entire transformation of his dreams, his passion, and how he believed on it and he went for it and he succeeded, right? So that itself gives a big, strong message to the viewers of the film. And that's why it has been getting so much acknowledgement. Documentary films are very, very difficult to shoot, and it takes a lot of trust. So I think you guys needed that sort of special connection, that special click happening. So when did you realize that, yes, we are clicking and this is it. We are going to do it.
Well, for me, when John and I started working on that music video back in late 2014, I realized that there was a special connection here. John knew how to push me beyond my self-imposed boundaries. And we just he had a special creative talent that I could definitely see. So for me, yeah, it started back in 2014, but it really blossomed starting in 2016, 2017, when we really started shooting a lot of the major elements of the film.
Throughout this process, so was there one specific time that something very difficult happened and you guys thought that, okay, so this is an obstacle that we cannot overcome, and then you guys did overcome something big or significant?
Yeah, there were a couple of obstacles along the way. So when we were filming in the Philippines, my wife, who in the film, which is true, she suffers from mental illness. She was having a very difficult time. And there was a point during our filming in the Philippines when she was just really suffering with depression and anxiety. And there were some thoughts that I would have to terminate the filming early and come home because she was having such a hard time. We did get through it with the help of friends and family back here in the US, with John's, kind of helping coach me through using that energy to really create Doug's character, really experiencing that in real life. But that was, I would say for myself at least, a very challenging time in the film, but we were able to make it through.
I think that working with a large team is really a big part of a director's job, and understanding how to meet everybody on the team where they are, being able to work with people. And going back to what you were asking earlier about trust, I felt that I had Doug's trust in this process from beginning to end, and that always propped me up. Anytime I was having an interpersonal conflict with someone in the film, I could talk through it with him. Any creative blockage that I had, just having him as a listener really helped me work through a lot of these obstacles that came up along the way. Looking back on the film, one of the obstacles that comes to mind is the dancers that we worked with for the concert. This was my dream cast of dancers. For years, I knew I wanted to work with these three guys. And I had really developed my creative voice as a choreographer. But for some reason, when we were working on the concert, when I got into the room with them, I was having complete creative block. And I look back on that with a lot of, I wish I could do it over. These were three dancers that I was desperate to work with. And I had to leave a lot of the choreography in the end up to them because there was so much going on with the development of the concert. And as you see, the concert was so big that I had to be in many places at once.
If there's one thing that you want your viewers to take away from your documentary, the one that you created, what would it be if there's one thing that you want?
I want people to see that Doug and Gina are not actors and that they're real people, that through the course of the movie, we see them perform. We see them getting in touch with their creative side. And so I think the message is that anyone can do it, and I really hope that when people finish the film, they go, was that really husband and wife? They're not actors? That's so impressive to me, that these are untrained actors and performers who are the stars of this movie that takes them from documentary into performance.
What was the first initial reaction from everyone, and how was it very overwhelming for you?
Well, I know this is not a super satisfying answer, but because of COVID, we have not been able to have the experience of being in the theater with viewers. So one thing that we are planning to make happen is a cast and crew premiere in New York City, where we will have to rent a theater now that the COVID guidelines are dropped here in New York. And I've had this experience before of working on a project for a long time and then having the audience react to what you created in the moment. And I know Doug has had this as well during a project that we worked on in 2014. But having the film be such a long journey, I'm really looking forward to seeing Doug's reaction once we get into the theater with all the cast and crew that we worked on the film with New York, and how satisfying it's going to be, because it will be our first time people in a theater experiencing it as a shared experience.
Doug, what is one thing that you want the viewers to take away from this so many years of your life that you have given to this film with all your heart?
I think for me, it's I mirror some of what John said, that these are two real, Doug and Gina are two real people. The challenges that they go through in life are portrayed in the film, and they are real. Their love for each other is very real and very special. But one of the most important things for me, I think, is that people actually see the film and have some inspiration from it. Walk out of the film and say, okay, so that guy did a film. That's pretty wild and crazy. But I've had some dreams too, and maybe it's not too late for me.
I think the inner message of this film is very, very inspiring, and it was very inspiring for me as well. So thank you very much. And so I wanted to ask one thing finally, what is next? What is next lined up for you guys?
What's next is kind of an open book. It's going to be very interesting to see. We're obviously still very involved in supporting the film through its film festival run and hopefully its eventual release. But after that, it's an adventure. We'll have to see where it goes, whether Doug goes on to do some more singing, whether he goes on and does some real live performing, whether Doug goes on and tackles on a brand new adventure is all, it's all very exciting.
We worked with an incredible team of photographers who are excellent at the technical side of filmmaking. And it wasn't until the very end of our shooting in Mexico that I thought to myself, you know what? I am a filmmaker. I know that this is something that's in my blood that I was meant to do. So now I have to start writing the next script. You know, I have to keep writing. That is what's next for me, is lots and lots of writing.
Great. Thank you, John. So the next in line is this film being premiered in Ignite Film Festival, and it's going to take place in 29th of June, right? So tell the viewers to, just anticipate it, and, when it comes out, go and watch it whenever it's possible.
Absolutely. Enjoy it. We hope everybody in the UK gets a chance to see it.
Thank you very much, Doug. Thank you very much, John. I wish you all the best for this release, and I wish you all the best when the COVID situation is going to get better, and I hope I can experience it in the theater as well. So thank you very much for joining me today from WhatsOn, and best of luck. Thank you.